you to come and abscond or to walk out. That is a cowardly way of dealing with things. Okay. You are required to come there and engage. Even I would not, if something like this comes up, I want to participate in it so that people know I gave my views.
So, Honorable Kaluma,
and there are some things I don't agree with. But you can't keep that every time you don't like something, you walk out. You don't like something, you walk out. Okay. That you cannot run the country like that.
Honorable Kaluma and Kanjama actually alluded to this, saying both sides are trying to get what they can from this. NASA, as it is, you worked out of this because these amendments, you're saying they must be dropped before any other engagements can happen.
And walking out
but
is not
you have also talked of irreducible minimums. Jubilee urged you to drop those demands so that they can sit with you. They still sat with you before IBC. Now this is what they're saying. These are proposed amendments. You also have irreducible minimums, and you've called for the removal of Shiloba and the rest. You're calling for demonstrations. In between, there were investigations by the DPP. Isn't that also hypocritical on your side? You're also making demands.
Their way or the highway.
You're also making demands, and you're not really
strong. Let me tell this. I hope this has not been brought so that we don't demand reforms. You know, we have a basis for demanding those reforms, and Jubilee should be fighting for those reforms, in my view, more than us. Remember, they are claiming President Uhuru Kenyatta won, and it has been nullified. They themselves ought to be asking, why was Uhuru nullified? Uhuru's result nullified. And what can we do to secure it? Look at it, Hussein. The Supreme Court tells you that the forms which were used to purport relaying results were fake. The language the Supreme Court is using is that they were of dubious authenticity. But remember, so many of them did not have security features, other serial numbers, they are not the same. The solution to it is to look at this decision, and that is why NASA is telling you. If we indeed had a lawful contract with this company called Al-Ghurair, and it specified the features that were to be in the forms, how did we end up with a situation where we have fake forms? What we expected, at the very least in terms of administrative, relook at the decision and how to move forward. So Al-Ghurair to come back and tell us, either we are the ones who printed the fake forms, or we did our printing according to the contract, somebody placed our forms aside. But without that, Jubilee is telling you it is good Al-Ghurair should deal with it. Let me tell you, Sen, there is a good reason as to why technology was incorporated into this thing. You now know that over 10,000, about 10,000 times, strangers are infiltrating the system and are manipulating results. And the Supreme Court is telling you the system was infiltrated. Really, do you just say saffron without first questioning? How do we ensure that the method we are using is secure as contemplated?
We have to wind up. But Honorable Kaluma, I asked you a specific question.
Yes.
IBC, for instance, they said they cannot infringe or, get in the way of NASA if they want to do their demonstrations. But they said they're calling NASA and Jubilee for talks. And it would be good if NASA come for those talks before going on to hold these demonstrations and keep on demanding about the irreducible minimums. You have now walked out of the talk saying Jubilee should first drop the amendments. You didn't heed to IBC's call to drop your calls for demonstration and the irreducible minimums before you talk.
Hussein, we went to talk. Let me answer the question. It is addressed at me. We went for the talks. And the day you are going for the talks, a bill is being, tabled by the Jubilee side, compounding the problems. What do? You say, clear this, we talk.
The same way you compounded the problem for IBC when they were holding the talks.
This talk is mutual. By the way, our talking about how we better our electoral process should be mutual.
I'm saying you compounded the same problems for IBC when they were calling for the talks, isn't it?
We'll not accept a situation, Hussein, where a section of this country, sits somewhere and think you came and you became a Kenyan by invitation. Let me say, if we cannot talk and agree on these things, I think we've been very clear. There will be no election.
I think Hussein, Jubilee is using the legal means for making changes. That is through legislation. It's going to
you're taking us back.
No, and then
you are taking us back.
No. Why are your demonstrations right? You understand?
They're constitutional.
Yes, they are constitutional, but then the removal of people from office is done through, there is legal means for removing people from office. So use the law to remove them from office, not demonstration.
I'll get the last one.
And Jubilee is using legal means to make changes to the law.
The last one I'll get from Kanjama.
Yes.
I think Kenyans are going beyond the interests of NASA and Jubilee. Want to see free, fair, verifiable elections, but also want to see those elections done within the 60-day window. I think NASA have very genuine points when they insist on the need for free, fair elections, that there needs to be some kind of reforms. And Jubilee also have very valid points when they insist that the elections need to take place within 60 days and the will of the voters must be respected by all institutions. Beyond the posturing of the two sides, we hope sobriety will prevail. We need a situation where it is not just a question of might is right. We know that in terms of Parliament, Jubilee has the numbers. But Parliament is a deliberative body. We hope that they will listen to reason. We also hope that NASA may have the numbers in the streets, but you cannot debate in the streets. We also hope they will
No, Kanjama, we are not going to debate this.
Listen. Both sides have reforms they intend to see through. NASA have their list of reforms. Jubilee have their list of reforms which are in the form of the elections bill. My hope is that they can both sit down with IBC, any other key stakeholders, and come up with a package which will not be the best for everyone, but will be the best we can achieve in the limited time.
All right, well, sorry, we'll have to wind it up there, but keep the conversation going on Twitter. The hashtag is GamePlan2017. Text us on 22422. Thank you so much to our guests, Honorable Gladys Chalet, Honorable Peter Kaluma, and Charles Kanjama. Really appreciate your time tonight. We're back after this.